You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
Well, welcome to today's edition of Coffee with Rhadi. I had to pray. I had to pray before I did this Coffee with Rhadi, and I had to pray right before I did this Coffee with Rhadi. We live in a very tumultuous time. Let me say this. I'm going to jump around a little bit today because I got some things that I want to say, and I also ask the Lord to put on my heart and my tongue the things that need to be said, but I also have some things that I want to say. Every once in a while, I get on my Facebook Live or my Instagram Live, and I work out, or I post my food, or I post what I'm doing with my children. And I do that because at any given time, somebody can see me outside walking or on my elliptical or working out, and they can get inspired to work out too. They can kind of see what I'm doing, and it will nudge them in a positive direction. I realize that I have a huge amount of influence with the amount of people that follow me online and the people who adhere to some of the things that I'm saying in life. And whether you believe it or not, you influence people too. I really think that when you sit in the seat of having the advantage, or sit in the seat of having the advantage of there's more people like you than people like me, that it's almost incumbent upon you to get involved, even on a low level of just a Facebook post. But if you see something that is an atrocity, that you speak out and make it known. I'm going to say this, man. I can only talk about, I'm 45 years old, and I'm black, and I'm an American. I can give you my purview and my experiences as a black dude in the United States. And I will tell you this, you can go back on your timeline if you don't believe me. All right. Many of my white brothers and sisters who are watching, okay, many of you got so upset with Michael Vick when he killed those dogs that if you go back on your timeline, you can watch yourself arguing and posting about these dogs. I mean, I've done it already before I got on here, okay, just so you know. But there's a dude who's been killed like a dog in the street. And no post. Nothing. Let me tell you something about my life. This whole thing about the killing of black folks by the police officer, this is not anything new for people like me. This has been going on for years, okay? When I was growing up, they used to talk about the guys used to get dropped off on the porch after the police and beat the mess out of them. Police have been doing this, for years. We just have cell phones now. So this ain't nothing new. Like when I was growing up, they taught us how to talk to police, to try to stay alive, and things of that particular. They taught all of that, okay? Now what you find out is people in my generation, they've had kids. We've survived, and we have then hung around our counterparts, all right? And we almost believe that we're the same. Like my son. My son doesn't know that he's a black kid. And it's kind of beautiful that he doesn't know that. He has no clue. Okay. He just thinks he's one of the fellas. Okay. He will learn, as I had to learn, that he is. And unfortunately, it will be a hard, unfortunate lesson that he has to learn. And I had to learn it too. And it was rough. When I drive, just so you know, all right, and I'm gonna make my point. I have to pre-frame some things so that you understand. I'm 45 years old. I'm not poor. All right. I'm not by any means. I'm not rich. I'm not poor. I got 3 college degrees. All right. I got an undergrad. I got a master's. I got a doctorate degree. All right. I'm not uneducated. All right. I don't have any. I don't have a record. I don't steal. I don't take from anybody. I don't. None of that. The amount of time that I've been pulled out of pulled out of my car by the police, or had a gun put to my head by the police, is alarming. Okay. And I am the yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am guy. That's me. Okay. We were traveling with my kids last year, and my dad was like, "Man, do you have your registration?" I said, "No, I just got my license. I don't carry my registration." He said, "Well, that's no good, man. You need to carry your registration." I said, "Why?" I said, "I'm not." He said, "Man, put your registration in the glove box all the time." I said, "I'm not putting my registration in the glove box." I said, "Doesn't matter." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm never reaching for my registration anyway." And my son was like, "Poppy, that's true. Daddy doesn't reach for his registration." Nope. It's happened 3 times. They give me a ticket because I don't have my registration. I will drive down to the courthouse. I will get the fee waived and pay whatever the money I got to pay. When I come back home, I will take an extra day. Listen to what I'm telling you now. I will take an extra day to go to the courthouse so that I don't get shot in the head. When the police come up, I have both my hands outside. Yes, sir. No, sir. He says, "Can you get your driver's license?" I have my driver's license already out. He said, "Can you get your registration?" "I don't have my registration, sir." Because I'm not reaching over into that glove box, because you've seen the videos when I think he has a gun. He may have a gun. The guy said, "I think he has a gun." Without the cell phones, many of you would just think this. You think it was a hoax or a joke. It doesn't happen. Here's what's upsetting. Okay, I have friends who are police officers who are white. I've checked their Facebook pages before I went live today. Not one of them said, "We don't do stuff like this. This is despicable. This is an atrocity. And I'm going to tell you right now that people like me need to see people like you make statements like that. Because as I said in the beginning, sometimes I get up in the morning or during the day and I just post a video of myself working out to inspire other people. There are some people who need to have their minds shifted in a different direction, because right now it's going in another direction. A perfect storm is being created, and we need to diffuse it with love. We need to diffuse it with empathy. Unfortunately, I don't care what you say or what you don't say. Unfortunately, it's not being diffused by our leadership. I don't care if you agree or don't agree or voted. It doesn't matter to me. There still needs to be some type of national de-escalation of this issue. There has to be, because otherwise we're going to run into a problem. When I'm on a phone call and I'm hearing educated Black folks say things that I don't even want to repeat, and that I vehemently disagree with, I have to take a barometer and a temperature of what's going on in that situation, and I got to say, "Hey, man, we need to this has to stop. Like, we need to make some adjustments. We need to make some adjustments on how we think about each other, how we love each other, and we can't remove race from the discussion. And one thing that I learned when I was at Howard University is that having a discussion, absence of race, is ultimately a racist discussion, because you have to see the color of the people to identify the context of the situation. And the reason why I say that is because contextually, okay, we saw, may he rest in peace, we saw George Floyd on the ground with 4 officers on his back. Now, let's just do this. Let's just reverse everything. Just reverse it in your head. Now, George Floyd now is a white man on the ground with 4 black officers on his back, and the bystanders now are white. How does that play out? Does it play out the same for you? Because if it doesn't play out the same in your head perceptively, then you have to take race into account, not to make things racial, but to understand the full context of the situation. Because when I see my son, I don't just see my son as a child. I have to see my son as a black child to give him the survivor skills to make it home in the evening, which is a burden. I'm burdened with that responsibility, and some people aren't, which is what the discussion of privilege is about. So let's move ourselves to the second part of my talk. There's a woman in Central Park who doesn't have her dog on a leash. A black Harvard graduate asks her to put her dog on a leash. I want you to follow me now. She gets upset with him making the request because she doesn't feel like he should make that request. Then calls the police on him and acts as if she's being threatened and assaulted. So now understand this. Understand this. There is a population of people who understand that they can weaponize the police against black folks. And not can, but can and do. So if you don't think it's an issue, please understand that there are people who know and understand this, and then use it to weaponize themselves. Man, the police officers could have come and got that man and did the same thing that they did to George Floyd. She was willing to kill him to make her point that her ability to do what she was doing in that park was supreme to what he was doing. It's a supremacist mentality, whether you believe it or not. No charges are filed on that woman to date. The man that she called the police on could have been seriously injured or hurt. And she was in the cognitive posture to believe that that decision was a good one at the time. Yeah, this is right, Meaty. He's a black child. Yeah, my son is. That's what people see him. People have told me that. I had a client who gave me a book called the what is it called? The Charisma Myth. And he said, man, you need to learn how to. This is a couple of years ago. He said, man, you need to learn how to walk in a room and be more charismatic. He says, because white folks find you to be threatening. So what the hell are you talking about, man? He says, I'm telling you because I've heard them say, that Ferguson is uncontrollable. And he's a client of mine. He says, well, what do you mean that he's uncontrollable? As in what? Like, how do you guys want to control him? And he recommended the book. He says, man, you have to walk in the room, man. You have to kind of reduce yourself to make He said it. He said to make these people feel more comfortable, which is crazy to me. But it's my reality. I mean, it's what has to be done. Now, here's what I want to say. People watch that video of the lady in Central Park. Listen to what I'm telling you now. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm going to bring this thing together. And they were outraged by the way that she was holding on to the leash of the dog. Listen to what I'm telling you now. To the point where they made calls, and the place where she adopted the dog from, she had to give the dog back. And then that group posted on Twitter saying that they've remedied the situation, and the person has given the dog back, and the dog is now in good care. Are you listening to me? People watched that video from the Central Park situation, and instead of calling their mayor or their governor, they called pet activists for the way that she was holding on to the dog's neck. Man, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I ain't seen damn bird. I wish I have it in front of me right now. I was just reading it. Do I have it in front of me? No, I don't think I have it in front of me. No, I don't have it in front of me. But I wish I had it in front of me right now. I'd love to pull it up. I was just reading it. I wish I had it in front of me. You wouldn't even. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I'm gonna say it again for the people of the Chiefs. I'm gonna say it again. Listen to what I'm telling you. Okay, listen. The lady in Central Park did not have her dog on a leash, which is dangerous for people. Dogs are dogs. Okay, the man asked her to put the dog on a leash. He also asked her, "Don't come any closer." He understands the threat that she poses to him as a white woman. Yes, boy. If you don't believe that, I just have a whole nother conversation for you. Huh? Ask her, "Don't come no closer." She then gets on the phone, not only complains, and then asks, then acts like she's being assaulted with the fake crying and everything going on. While she's on the phone, she's trying to hold the dog back because the dog is doing what dogs do. The people who are watching this get so upset that they call pet activists. For y'all who didn't get that, y'all will get it later. I mean, they bypassed the whole thing about her calling the police. They bypassed the whole weaponizing the police. Their concern for the black man in the park was superseded by the care for the dog. I've been doing martial arts probably most of my life. Pardon me for jumping around a bit. I'm talking slow because I want a lot of people to get this message, and I don't want to curse on here. I want to keep it clean so that people can share it and people can listen. So I'm talking slow so that I don't get so emotionally involved that I don't want to speak freely right now in the name of Jesus. Okay. Because I got my friend Aaliyah on here. I need to watch what I say, inshallah. Okay. Been in martial arts for a long time, man. And I truly believe in the training and what martial arts does to people and what it does for people. Martial arts allows you to see that, no matter how big you are, how small you are, you could be empowered and you can be disempowered. But it also gives you a healthy sense of empathy for other people. You also learn when something is too much or when it's not enough. When you understand clearly if you put your knee on somebody's neck for 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, that person can black out, they can be hurt. And the reason why you understand that is because you've had a knee on your neck. I've had a knee on my neck before. I don't like it. I've had a knee on my neck. I've had a knee on my chest. I had a knee in my sternum. I had a knee on my belly. I felt all those particular things. I understand the difference between compression. I understand a slow choke, which is hypoxia. I understand the difference between a strangle and a choke. I understand the difference between a windpipe choke and being strangled with on a blood choke. I understand all of it. But because I understand and I'm educated about it, I'm less likely to do that to other people. Because many of you believe, walk with me down this path, okay? If you agree, all right, that it's an education issue, okay? If you agree that's an education issue, let's agree that's an education issue. They're not educated. They don't have the information about martial arts. They're not educated. Let's agree. Let's agree. Let's agree. It's an education issue. So I was playing the game of life with my kids, but the last 3 nights playing the game of life. And I'm trying to give my kids an understanding of the value of money. So in order to give them an understanding of the value of money and the value of a dollar, then we play games. I talk to them, I speak to them so they understand the value of money because it's part of the education process. If you're in the United States and you go to school K through 12, and you never take a Black Studies course or African American history course or a Caribbean Studies course or a Black diaspora course, and then you go to college for 4 to 5 years, and then you go to grad school, and on that whole time, you've never taken any Black Studies course, African American Studies course, or you don't study anything about Black culture. You don't even understand that there are Black philosophers. You don't understand Black philosophical thought. You don't understand African culture, African history. You don't understand any of that. And then they tell you, you've done so well, sir, that now we have options for you. You can take AP European history, or you can take AP American history. But there's no AP African history. There's no AP African studies course, which they also indoctrinate you with. Once you get to a high level, you now have the privilege to learn more about us. So you go through school the whole time and you lack education, because you just agreed with me that it's an education issue. It's an education issue when it comes to the defense. It's an education issue when it comes to defense tactics. It's also an education issue when it comes to people. Because if you're educated about one group and you're not educated about the other group, then you lack value because you lack understanding about the group. So it's an education issue. I had one person, that's a Facebook friend of mine, who told me that Black History Month was racist. I'm telling you. I'm not going to say the lady's name, but she said that. She said it. She said, well, what other month is dedicated to another race of people? It is at that moment that I had to understand that when a wise man argues with a fool, no one knows who the wise man is. And I had to leave her alone, and I had to exit. Say, unfortunately, even professed martial arts cannot understand what you're saying. What's the color of skin? Is a good question. That's unfortunate. So Meaty says, and his hands were in his pocket. So Meaty, what that's called in what we do, that's called third point pressure. Meaning, usually I have 2 feet on the ground, and then there's something else on my body on you, which creates third point pressure. When I release one of the points, it increases the pressure at another point. So if I have my knee on your neck and my other foot on the ground, I only have 2 points of pressure. One is on your neck and one is on the ground. And if I want to put all my weight on you, not lift my leg off the ground and just totally have my knee on your neck. When he wasn't balancing himself with his hands and he put his hands in his pocket, he put damn near all of his body weight on that guy's neck. And even the untrained officer, both of them are untrained, but the untrained officer, let me not even say that. I don't know if they're untrained. Here's what I do know. If you look up their history, which I did, they both have, well, the one officer whose knee was on the neck, he had already shot somebody, all right? The other person already had excessive force claims against him, to which the department had to pay $25,000 fine because he punched somebody in the face because he said their hand got loose. I mean, what are you going to do? There's no camera. It seems like these people put a level of valuation on this person's life to the point where it no longer mattered. And I will take you back to my original discussion. I'm going to give you my opinion. If George Floyd was a white person with 4 black officers kneeling on him and one kneeling on his neck, I'm pretty sure that the bystanders around would have pulled a weapon and told the officers to get off of that man. I'd put cash money on it. And I don't think that's the right thing to do, no matter what the color is. That's my responsible statement for today. Okay. Let me look at the the Cavalier. Yeah, it was so blasé. Sean Bell, it was just so blasé. It was like, I don't care nothing about him and I don't care nothing about you. Now, understand this. This is what some of y'all don't know. The person who was in the video, I'm not going to give his name because it's clear that he does not want to give his name. The person who was in the video talking was a mixed martial arts fighter who was telling the person to get off his neck. He's going out. He can't breathe. He does Brazilian jiu-jitsu and he's a mixed martial artist. And he was trying to give the guys the advice. Now, here's what I need people to understand. And I'm gonna ask you, Sean Bell. Let me see who's on here. Sean, Hanif Rahman, Hanif Rahman, okay. Lenny, Tim Spriggs, Atu, Sam. I'm asking some of my men on here, okay. How traumatic must it be to be in a situation where you can see, like if you do martial arts like I do, like Tim and Atu went to the Olympics in 2000. Tim, world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you do martial arts like I do, all right, Atu, Tim, myself, what do you think it feels like to sit on the side and knowing that that man is dying, and knowing that you have to do something, but you understand that if you do something, you're going to die too? I feel bad. I feel horrible. I cried yesterday for about 40 minutes, man. I'm glad my kids weren't here. They were at my parents' house. That thing hurt me so bad watching that video. And I thought about a lot of points. I even felt bad for the family of the officers, because there's some people in that person's family that are not like that. And his whole family is impacted. I'm not just talking about their spouses I'm talking about their children. And their children's children from now on are going to be impacted for that. So I feel bad for everybody. I feel mostly bad for the Floyd family. Trust me when I tell you. But I looked at everything. I even looked at the woman who was I think the woman said she was the white lady who said she was a first responder. She was like, you guys need to do chest compressions. To sit there and watch some people being murdered is horrible. Let me say this. I told somebody else this. What did you say, Atu? Atu, it would be hard to watch. It'd definitely be hard to watch. I'm not sure that I would be able to watch without running over and kicking that dude in his chest. But here's the thing. If you go and you alleviate the pressure, the argument is he was okay and you are obstructing justice. So what do you do in that situation? I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. Yes. Now I'm gonna say this, Tim. I'm gonna say this, okay? And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm educated. I'm an educated guy. I hang around other educated black folks. This is a circle that I run in, okay? When I'm on a phone call, a multiple person phone call, lots of people on the call, and these black folks are talking about collectively going out on their shield and taking one for the team, that's how I'm gonna say it. We got a problem. Because I'm telling you, there's already a faction of people who don't care. But when you have the people who have things who now don't care, you got a problem. I need everybody for these next couple of days, man, try to nudge people in the right direction. If you feel that it was the wrong thing, man, come out and say it was wrong. If you're a police officer, come out and say, hey, man, this is not what we do in our department. If you're a mayor of a city, come out and speak out against what you saw and say this type of behavior will not be tolerated by our police department. Say it. You may psychologically nudge somebody in the right direction. You might pull somebody off the cliff. I'm telling you, I don't know who these young women were who came on Howard University's campus a couple of years ago with that Make America Great Again hat song. I am telling you, I thank God for you. I thank God that you did it when you did it. I thank God that you did it in 2016, 2017. I am telling you right now, as a graduate from Howard University in 1997, if you came on the campus like that in 94, 95, and 96, not in the cafeteria I used to sit in. You wouldn't have made it. And you wouldn't have tried it. Things are different. Things are a lot different. I think that we need to do better collectively. I think we gotta lead with a little more love. All right. I think we need to lead with a little more love. So we got every day our children taught in school that humans are a product of evolution without dignity of person. That's why people are so outraged about the dog as they were the man. As they were the man. It's wrong until we see another person as a soul with dignity. We must do all we can to teach our children the value of a man or woman. Thank you for speaking out. It's more important. It's even more important that white men speak out on that. It is. I'm telling you, it is. So let me get to the. Let me look at another comment that came through. Ransom, let's say Ransom. Hey, Ransom. That let me tell you something. That back part of that cafeteria in the '90s where the football players used to sit. That was trouble for everybody. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who or what you were, because somebody would have told them, "Hey man, just go back there and sit back there." There's no answer, like you said. Either way, you're screwed. There are several law enforcement officers who spoke out on my live against these officers. I'm glad they spoke out. Yeah, I'm glad they speak out too. But speaking out, and listen, I'm cool. Speaking out and using your platform to speak out are two different things. It's cool to make a comment. It's different when it's on the wall of your page. It's different when it's on your Twitter feed. But we live in a social media society. Man, say something. I mean, I think the president should say something. He's a president. He can do what he wants. I mean, I just think he should say something. I think it's really important, man, for white folks to speak out. And black folks, man, they're outraged. And black folks are getting. I'm gonna speak on behalf of all black folks, and I rarely do this, but I'm gonna speak on behalf of all black folks. Black folks are getting fatigued. That's what I will say. They're getting fatigued. I'm not gonna say they're getting tired, because when somebody say I'm tired, that means they're done. They're not. Most black folks not done yet. Black folks are getting very fatigued. I had a person from the Bahamas send me a direct message this morning, and I don't want to misquote. I don't want to misquote the dude. I'm going to read you exactly what the direct message said. Let me read exactly what it said, so I don't misquote. He said, "I don't know how much more Black Americans can take before that place erupts. It's like nursing a time bomb." Yes. I don't know, man. You have people who like this. We agree it's an education issue. All right, it's an ignorance issue. So it's I'm tired. Yeah, tired. It's an education issue. It's an ignorance issue. It's almost like, man, like the data is available. Like you can look at the data and see that when it comes to white folks and people of color, they can do the same crime, and the person of color or the person who's black gets more time than the white person. Like I'm not making that stuff up. Like there's data on that. There is a systematized prison pipeline. I mean, there's data on. There's data. My good friend of mine, Dr. Boz Dreisinger. All right, you should get her book online. It's called Incarceration Nations. Dr. Boz Dreisinger. Man, she's done a lot of the research on this. A lot of it. Brilliant woman, white, Jewish, brilliant, fantastic, awesome. Like bathes herself in education, bathes herself in human rights and civil rights. I mean, just superb, with no agenda. I mean, no agenda. It's just Incarceration Nation. If we agree that it's an education issue, then we got to educate ourselves. Lord Jesus. I don't even want to see that picture. To the previous point, the white voice is needed on these issues. I was glad to see those young white folks protesting in Minneapolis. Everyone should be outraged, not just black folks. Humanity is at stake. You're right. I think I don't have a solution. I mean, I think somebody asked Brent Hughes this morning on another one of my posts, "What's the solution?" He said, "Man, I don't know what the solution is. I don't have a solution. I do know this. Um, I do not believe in rioting. All right. I have no problem with protesting. I have no problem with civil discourse and civil unrest. Okay. Um, I don't. I'm not a. I do understand riots. Rioting is the yelling when nobody is hearing you speak. Is nonverbal communication. I understand it, um, and I understand that those who don't have a voice riot. I ain't seen no rich white folks or rich black folks out in the street rioting. It's not happening because they have a voice at the table. That's the people who don't have a voice who riot. Okay. I do not believe in rioting. I believe that those who have a voice should speak. I haven't seen any group. I haven't seen a police against police brutality group. Where is that group? I mean, maybe if there's a group, post it for me. Is there a police against police brutality group? Are there any members of this group? I mean, I think there has to be some members of this group. And I'm in agreement with what you say, Serge. I believe that we have to lead with love. I think leading with love is the most important thing. I think leading with love is the most important thing. I will challenge everybody to do this today. All right, I'm going to close. I got to get to work today, but I'll challenge. Let me see this. I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one either. Meeting. Yes, those who have a voice need to speak. I'm going to challenge everybody to do this today. I'm going to challenge everybody to get on the phone and call somebody who doesn't look like them and say, "I love you." Now, understand this. All right. And tell them, and I'll preface it so we don't have any whatever they call it, the sexual misconduct allegations, whatever it is. Say, "I want to respectfully tell you, it was a challenge that I was given to tell you that I love you." Now, somebody that doesn't look like you falls under these categories. You might be black, somebody else might be white. You might be a man, somebody else might be a woman. Just somebody who's in a different seat than you are, okay, who sees the world differently. There may be somebody who's a Republican and you're a Democrat. There might be somebody who's a libertarian. Somebody who's different than you, who sees the world different than you, who looks different than you, and who looks at things differently than you do. I will tell you right now, this dude's name, this dude who's on the screen, his name is on the screen, Serge. Serge called me about a week and a half ago. He said, "I just called you to tell you I love you and to check on you." He said, that's it. The conversation ended up being maybe about 2 to 5 minutes, something around there. But he was willing to make it a 15-second conversation. He said, "I was just calling to check on you and to tell you I love you." And that was it. That was the conversation. Serge and I, man, we get along. Do we disagree? Yeah, man, we disagree. We disagree on stuff respectfully. We even disagree tongue in cheek about who's better at judo, who's better at coaching judo, and we disagree. And there's a way. This is a secondary conversation that I'm holding my mule on, and I'm going to handle later. There is a way to respectfully disagree on how judo is being coached without, one, disenfranchising someone else, and two, without, and I said I was going to keep it clean, without doodling on somebody else. You can do it respectfully. You can respectfully disagree with people's philosophical approaches to a thing without demeaning them and berating them publicly. And I'm going to address that later. I've been holding my mule on that, but when I address it, please understand that I'm going to address it correctly. It's another issue, Serge. I might have to talk to you about that before I address it, but I'm going to address it. I am going to address it. I'm just holding Danny before I address it, but I'm going to address it. Praise the Lord, brother. I tell you what, I agree with the love, but I have too been on calls where educated. Jesus, God. Lord, I just ask you to just go before these people and turn their minds and their hearts, because they are moving into what I feel is the wrong direction. But only you, God, know the direction that these people are going in and why they want to go that way. But I pray and ask that you help people see this thing differently. In Jesus' name. I will tell you this. I'm going to read what Ransom Miller wrote. Okay. Ransom, I agree with you to lead with love too, but I've been on calls where educated folks are fed up and moving towards a super radical. Listen to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to me. All right. So you haven't heard this before. Okay. What I'm getting ready to tell you, I am talking to you from a data-driven standpoint and a certain framework. All right. It's not necessarily a framework that I believe or I adopt, but I'm going to talk to you per that particular framework. So there's a white supremacist framework that most of us live in. All right. There's also a black supremacist framework. I want to explain something to you. All right. Listen, there are people, all right, who believe, all right, the opposite of what white supremacists believe. They believe the total opposite. So I've asked people before I say, give me the color of the person. All right. As a matter of fact, let's play a game. All right. You give me the color of the person in the chat. All right. Give me the color of the person in the chat. Gold medalist 100-meter dash at the Olympics. Put the color in. I'm going to wait. Gold medalist at the Olympics, 200 meters. Put the color in. Gold medalist at the Olympics, 400 meters. Gold medalist at the Olympics, 800 meters. Gold medalist, 1,500 meters. Gold medalist, 3,200 meters. Gold medalist, 5,000. Gold medalist, 10,000. Gold medalist, steeplechase. Gold medalist, marathon. Put the color in of the winner. What's the color? Okay, now stop. Now, put the color in. Color of the people who invented math. Put the color in. Color of the people who invented astronomy. Put the color in. Color of the people who invented the pyramids. Put the color in. Color of the person who invented the traffic light. Excel, all of them are black. Excel. If you look at the records, which I've already done. Color of the person who invented the light bulb. if you really work yourself all the way down on it, all of them, and if you go to Howard or you go to Historical Black House, you'll find that all of them are black. And you'll find out that some of the patents, they couldn't be filed in the office because black folks couldn't file patents in the office. They worked for the white folks who filed the patents in the office, and they got the patents, but they were doing most of the labor and most of the work. Which means there's a certain framework that believes that systemically, if you don't create a system in place that suppresses a certain group of people, that certain group of people takes over. What you do is you allow them to exist in a place where you can make money off of them. So you allow them to do the sports thing while you own the stadium, own the building, own the team. And then you make sure that they don't become owners. That is a certain framework. Those who believe in systemic racism believe some of those things. There are certain people who don't believe in systemic racism. They believe in something called meritocracy. Meritocracy has been shown per data to be a farce. One of the variables that stops meritocracy is nepotism. But meritocracy is a belief system that is adopted in a capitalistic society because you have to believe that if you work hard, you can move your way to the top. But if you look at the data, you can't work your way up to the top. You can work your way up to where you're allowed. And that's just how it is. So I didn't give you my belief on it, okay, on either one. All right. On the white supremacist framework or the black supremacist framework or just the human supremacist framework. That I believe that humans are the apex predators on the planet. We all believe that, okay? And then within factions, there's different factions of people. So what I'm telling you is that if you understand the thought processes of these different groups, there's one thought process that works off of fear. There's another process that works off empowerment, and there's a reason why they are the way that they are. But it's something that you should read and something that you should study. All right. You have to know why you think it's funny when white folks are around and they imitate a black person talking and they make fun of the way they talk and their voice. Well, bro, 2 generations ago, it was illegal to teach those people how to read. So those people who could not read had people who read a little bit. And then now they're having children who read a little bit more, but then they have children right now who don't think reading is cool. Like, these people just got taught how to read, man. Like, people, oh, that was so long ago, man. It's 2 generations ago. 1, 2. Like my parents, my grandparents, they were free. And they were free for a long period of time because my grandparents on both sides came from the Bahamas. But their parents were slaves. And there's some people's grandparents who were slaves, depending on when they were born. And depending on what part of the United States they lived in, because there's people who, when the Emancipation Proclamation came out, and some people, Emancipation Proclamation didn't free people. All right, it was just emancipation. Like, they had to win the war. When they won the war, there was no internet. There was no, there's nobody running onto the plantation like, hey, Leroy, you free now. You could go. Go where? And who's going to tell him he's free? He had to wait for Union soldiers to march into each area and then tell them they were free. And then free to do what? Free to work where? For who? There are a lot of things that impact everything that goes on, even to the point where the kneeling on the neck is not an isolated issue, nor is it an isolated incident, nor is it something that is small. And when you understand the kneeling of Kaepernick and why he kneeled, then you understand where a lot of people in Black America are on the issue of police brutality. As I said, it's not anything new for us at all. Like, at all. I love it too. I just think we need to do better, man. And we have people, Serge, Ransom, Clarence, Atu, Excel, Sam, Juan, Regina, Sean, Danny, Junior, Meaty, Monica, Bernadette, Hanif, Aaliyah. I'm asking Dion, Lenny Lloyd, and Lenny Valdez. I'm asking all of you, take the challenge, man. Call somebody who looks different than you, who thinks differently than you, randomly. Say, hey, man, respectfully, I've been given a challenge today to lead with love by Dr. Ferguson, and I want to tell you that I love you and you have a great day. And then get off the phone. I will start. I've issued a challenge to myself to lead with love today from myself. And I want to tell you that I love you and have a great day.